It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers. And this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine sides of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want things to change, we need to look at what's going on within us in this internal dynamic and shift and flow. So if we don't like something one side of the self is doing, we have to make an effort to find where that's true for us and shift that energy, shift our beliefs about it, shift our thinking, etc., etc., etc. I'm late. I mean, that's my schedule, but I'm late in my mind. It's a little bit later in the day for me. I am taking it easy. It is raining. I am procrastinating. I have to pack all this stuff you see here and find somewhere to put it. I know where I could put it, but that's not an option right now. But anyway, so yes, I'm procrastinating. But I pulled these cards and I'm looking at them and I'm just like, wow, this looks so on point that we should probably get to this tune in and actually check in and see where the divine masculine and divine feminine energy is at. If you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, all the links are below. You can also send me a deck. And there's ways to support me. And I'm about to move in a few days and it costs a lot. So if you want to click support, I would not be sad about it. Thank you. If you don't, please energetically help by liking, subscribing, sharing, sending it to your friends, all the good stuff. All right. There's a reason why you're here. I mean, I'm sure it's because I'm so attractive during Aries season and so confident that you just want to see what kind of crazy shit I'm going to say. Other than that, you probably got your own reasons for being here besides me. Anyway, there is some reason that you come here. There's something that you want that you feel it's going to make you feel better in regards to whatever situation you're in. A lot of times people come here in states of no communication with the person that they feel a lot of love for. And that's one of the most common reasons to come here, because you want to hear messages from that person, which you do by tuning into your own self, because wherever you're at, your person, if they're a reflection of you, will be reflecting that back to you. But remember to check and see if they're actually reflecting, because there's projecting and then there's reflecting. Those are different things. It's 10:22 on the clock. So that's important for somebody to think about with a person that they are in a dynamic with. It's like a reflection is going to reflect back the work you're doing. So if you're doing a lot of work and you're, shifting the energy, you're consistently coming to these readings and you're changing everything, and then the person that you're looking at is sitting there like a lump and doesn't seem to be making the changes, is still cycling through the same behaviors you saw them cycling through for years, it's likely that person is not in alignment with you at this time, because they're not making the changes to be in alignment. If we focus on a person who's not in alignment with us, all we notice is how they're not where we want them to be. So the best thing to do is to take that focus off of them and focus on ourselves. And that's what this card is going to help us to do. There's a reason that you want to come here that you think will make you feel better. Hold that in your mind for a moment. It can be hearing from your person or coming into union. It can be getting a new job. It can be finally understanding why you procrastinate all the time. Whatever it is, that thing that you think is going to make you feel better when you hear it, that is what you think you need. This is what you actually need, the 9 of Wands. And it's very interesting because the 9 of Wands in other decks is often tied to the word perseverance or exhaustion. But in the Thoth Tarot, Crowley chose to use the word strength to describe what comes from the energy of the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands in this card is composed of this ace right here, which is your single most desire that you have. And then these 8 wands behind it, which is a card of movement, motion, and communication. It's an interesting way to reflect upon the energy of the 9 of Wands, because normally with the 9 of Wands, we're seeing this wall that's built up, an individual who is on the other side of that wall, and they're like nursing their wounds. They've fought a difficult battle, and now they are healing. there are elements of victimization that can be associated with the Nine of Wands, but not in this Nine of Wands. This is showing us that it's precisely the things that we feel victimized by that have made us strong. And that's a really beautiful thing to need to know. It's a card about healing from those wounds so that they don't control our behaviors anymore, so that we are not a victim of the wounds we received over and over and over and over again after receiving that first blow. Everything I just said was so in flow, and I'm looking forward to watching that again because it sounded profound. I'm like, whoa, okay. Not me. It's something else that comes through me, and it's really powerful. Okay, looky. Who's first? Technically, Divine Masculine gets to go first because he has more cards showing. But it's close. It was close. Divine Feminine showed me 3 cards. Divine Masculine showed me 4. And these are the cards in the headspace. That's how I determine who wants to talk first. It's like I've got a lot on my mind and I want to speak up. That's how I look at that energy. So when I speak from the masculine side, this is from the masculine side of self. I just want to remind you, it is not about a gender. So if your person is identifies in masculine gender, that does not mean that he will only have messages from the masculine self. He will also have a feminine side of self, emotional side, and the same struggles that you have if he's a reflection. So keep that in mind when you're watching these readings. You will get messages from both sides. And then if you watch this reading thinking of your person, that's totally fine. If you go back again and watch it, and you know, you don't have to watch all of it, but maybe the parts that resonated with you, and then think about, thank you, how your person, I like how lately I've been like, take care of that. And it's like happened instantly. Wow, my spirit guides are working overtime here to like fix all the car alarms for me. But I just lost my train of thought though from that happening. Your reflection of the person. Oh yeah, so go back and watch some of the significant parts, like maybe the parts you really liked, you know, like, ooh, that was good, juicy, like that, or the parts you really didn't like that made you uncomfortable, and then switch it around and listen to it as if it's something that you're doing. So for instance, if the masculine is like having a third party or something like that, and you're like, wow, that piece of shit is cheating and doing all this stuff or whatever, and then you have to be like, well, how am I doing that? What am I doing? I don't do that kind of stuff. What do I do that's like that? Where in my life do I like hold on to something because I'm afraid to let it go? Oh no, right? You know, and that's how you really learn from these readings. Okay, top of the deck, overall headspace. Oh, poor Divine Masculine, he's getting the Tower right away. But the Tower is a beautiful and blessed energy. And if you can see it that way when it comes up, if it doesn't scare you anymore, you've really come to a pretty good place in your journey, because you start to embrace the beauty of the Tower card, which is you are not going to make a single move if your ass is cozy. If your ass is cozy under the covers and your alarm clock goes off, and you know, you're not going to be that uncomfortable if you don't get up on time because you don't have to do your reading until whenever the fuck you really desire to. You're just going to stay right in that bed and be all cozy. What do you mean? And you shouldn't even feel bad about that, because you're literally designed to save the energy you have, because you're a battery and you have to use the energy that you have to recharge at the end of every day to survive from the elements that are fucking like difficult. So if you didn't have the desire to stay cozy, you would not get charged up enough to do shit. Makes sense. But if you want to get up and do shit, you got to have a little bit of discomfort, or else you're just going to stay cozy. So you got to be like, well, fuck, I'm not going to have a bed to sleep in if I don't get up. Or, well, shit, like, I guess if I don't deal with this, I'm just going to keep experiencing this over and over and over and over again. And so sometimes when we're stuck in that comfortable place, the universe is like, will you get the fuck up and do shit? You keep asking me for stuff and you're too comfortable. So I got to make you uncomfortable because you won't do the work that you have to do when you're comfortable. And it's so frustrating to me. If you can balance more, if you can create scenarios where you have enough discomfort that you innovate, and you're in a good place. So what's interesting today is when I'm feeling this card, I'm not feeling this fearful energy. And actually, I just looked down at the spread and I'm seeing why. But in general, what I see here is something really amazing has happened. Something really shocking the masculine into doing something. Like a discomfort so profound that he can't handle it anymore. And it's almost a decision. It's like, all right, hit me. Like hit me with your best shot kind of a thing, right? To the universe. Underlying all of his thoughts and decisions. And that tower moment, this can be about him thinking tower moments he caused, how that discomfort has put him into a situation now where he needs to like shit or get off the pot, as my dad used to say. What a gross thing to say. Anyway, he's got to do something about this. The Four of Wands, about his soulmate, about the fact that he maybe has just shockingly discovered that someone or something is so valuable and so important that he's going to release all fears, anxieties, worries, discomforts, and comforts. He's going to sacrifice everything just to align with this energy. Because he wants that healthy foundation. He wants that sacred union with the divine feminine. But the first thing on his mind is this hanged man energy, because everything has been suspended in time. We've been waiting for this energy to get the perspective he needs to have this come to Jesus moment. And what is he having this come to Jesus moment in regards to? The Seven of Swords. And it's the feminine who is being tricky. It's the feminine who is hiding from him now. It's the feminine who he can't see clearly, doesn't have that connection with because she's not talking. It's the feminine who's likely having other options behind the scenes. And why wouldn't she? What's really interesting is that during the feminine spread, the song That Did It, which is how I titled this video today, it was sung by the Bobby Blue Band. I don't know if it was a standard. It probably was a standard that Bobby Blue interpreted. If you don't know Bobby Blue, go listen to his music. He's so fucking good. I mean, his voice. It's just so good. But anyway, that song was like, you know what did it? What did it is I was working every day, working 6 days a week, trying to get everything ready for you to be married. You told me we were going to be married in the spring. And then where do I see you? Oh, I see you in the bar with another man. It was sung by a masculine, but it came during the feminine spread because the divine feminine has had this experience with the masculine. And now the shoe is on the other foot. And it's not a situation where the masculine has any right to feel this way because he didn't give any commitment to this feminine. And he knows that. That's what this is about. It's like, I have to release my anger, my fury, my jealousy because I have no solid foundation with this feminine. I didn't create one. I did this. This is my karma, my lesson I'm experiencing. And the feminine's not doing this to me. In fact, I didn't do it to her. I did it for her. And now she's doing it for me too. And she's not sneaking out on me. She might be in some cases, depending on where the masculine energy is in his journey. It's 10:33 on the clock. But she's just being autonomous and not telling me what's going on anymore. She's not being open and expressive. She's not, she's not being just devoted to me. What is going on? She says she loves me, but she's just not there waiting for me forever. That's not what love is. You can be autonomous, and then he has to think about it. He has to think about this perspective now. And he has to be like, wait a minute. I have loved the feminine this whole time, that I've been sleeping with other people, that I've been catering to my addictions, that I've been prioritizing my career over her, that I've been doing all these things behind the scenes and not telling her about it, that I've been hiding all these. I loved her this whole time. So that must mean that divine feminine loves me that way too, even when she's with someone else. And I drove her to be with someone else because I was afraid that she would leave me for someone else. And there's this big fear again. And this is coming out. This is an incredible reading, really. This is coming out right after this card. So what is hidden, what is unknown, what is beneath the surface, the dreams and the fantasies, and the things that have been unspoken. He's now facing all of these fears. He's seeing this very clearly, how he kept the feminine, how much that hurt, because it hurts, right? It's his tower moment. It's his discomfort. And again, she's not doing it to him. He's like, I get it. If she stayed in that suspension with me, she would have died in suspension with me. So she has to do this. But now I feel what I put her through. I think, I'm tuned in, I'm aware. I have knowledge of how I manipulated her. There's the Magician in reverse. How I tried to show her one thing, but it was just what I wanted her to see. I didn't want her to leave, but I didn't want to go to her. And I realized that I did that because I didn't have love for myself. I didn't feel I deserved hers. But now I am trying to figure out a plan, because everything I tried to do before, everything I tried to manifest in this magician energy, it just didn't work. Everything I tried wouldn't work. Every single time I tried to make an offer to her, it wouldn't work. Like, I couldn't figure it out. But now I understand why. I've faced my fears. This is the Nine of Swords in reverse, clarifying the moon. It's because I thought she would do what I pushed her to do. She was loyal to me. She was faithful to me. She believed that we were in sacred union. And then I did something that did it. That pushed her away. Pushed her to hide from me, to seek out comfort from others and not tell me. I was so afraid that she would do that, that I willed it to happen. He realizes it. This is the tower moment in 6 cards. This is, oh fuck, I did this to myself, and that's what really hurts. And how do we know that? Because this tower is being clarified by the Two of Cups. His heart wants this union in the physical, material reality. We're getting even a twin flaming energy from here, which isn't usually in the Two of Cups always. We have the, what's that called? The caduceus or seduce. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But that thing that goes back and forth, which is about how the twins go together and go apart into separation to learn and grow and expand until they come to that peak moment. Here we're just depicting that with this call to the Two of Wands, which is making us think of that spiritual journey that's described in the Two of Cups. It's possible that divine feminine has entered into a relationship of some kind that has really destabilized the masculine, caused him to have a tower moment. or that she's dating or seeing people, and that's really making him feel all these things that we just saw. But I also think that what I'm really seeing is that come to Jesus moment is tuning him in that he must be with the feminine in the physical, that he cannot stand it anymore to be apart from her. And the niggling feeling, the thing that's bugging him, is the Chariot. And that's what's clarifying this Four of Wands. He wants to surrender to that union. Again, with the twin flame reference here in the Four of Wands, that the end game of the spiritual journey, the coming together into alignment, surrendering the ego, which is trying so much to protect him from what he wants. And by doing that, gave him what he didn't want. Remember, when I do the Tell Me Everything spreads, which if you're interested in seeing those full-length Tell Me Everything spreads, I do them on Thursdays for members. You can become a member for $3.33 a month. But in the position of what I want from you, which is where the masculine tells the feminine what I want, he always asks for what he doesn't want. So rather than saying an affirmative statement, like, you know, divine feminine, I want you to be loyal, he would say, divine feminine, I don't want you to cheat on me. And so he's asking for what he doesn't want. And he's focused on that happening rather than thinking, I want you to be as loyal as I am with you, which he can't do. That's why the divine masculine does that, because he has to admit that he has not been loyal in saying that. And that makes him feel he doesn't deserve loyalty. But you don't get loyalty because you're good at loyalty. You get it because you deserve it inherently. You don't do anything to become worthy. You are always worthy. When you embrace that you're worthy, you do worthy things. When you feel unworthy, you act unworthy. It's, you know, people be like, oh, I don't know if I believe in the law of attraction. I'll be like, okay, that's fine if you don't believe in it. It's like being like gravity's not real. If you feel unworthy, you act unworthy. If you can change the feeling of unworthiness, if you can change your thoughts about yourself of unworthiness, then you will act accordingly. It is proven. It is said. All right, let's look at the rest of the heart space. So we've got the Hanged Man here being clarified by the Four of Pentacles. A beautiful rendition of the Four of Pentacles, because I usually associate the Four of Pentacles with the material, but we're called to think about the spiritual here with this cross symbol. It's also presenting a challenge. Crosses present a challenge to our faith. And the perspective divine masculine has gained has been about grasping and holding on to things, focusing on the material, being concerned about outside opinions, holding on to, whether or not someone is going to accept the way you are or how you act, etc. So he's gained this perspective on how important this was to him, how much control this had over him, how he was willing to put his life on hold and suspend himself in order to navigate this in the best way he possibly could. He was so attached to the material perception of himself. That he's exhausted by this. Here's the 10 of Wands. This is a huge burden to carry all these secrets he has about what he did behind the scenes. He's now feeling the burden because he can feel the burden of divine feminine secrecy. He doesn't know what's going on with her anymore. She doesn't tell him. She's even actively told him that the things she does have nothing to do with him. So now he doesn't even know if she's doing things for someone else or she was the whole time. He's questioning everything. Just like divine feminine was doing. That reflection is here. And it's a heavy burden to realize that he put that burden on the feminine too. And was careless and thoughtless about it. because she loves him and because he loves her. And that's the thing that's really stings. It's not because either one of them was bad or anything. 1044. It is that they loved each other that hurt. That's what hurt, the love. The moon is being clarified by the 3 of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card of teamwork and partnership. And this masculine realizing he needs this feminine emotional side of self to navigate the obstacles in his life. He can no longer pretend that he can do this by himself alone. And this doesn't necessarily mean he has to have a physical person, but he has to understand how to do the emotional processing that this physical person has clued him into doing. He very much wants to work for this partnership rather than against it. This magician is being clarified by the Son of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving deck, coming right underneath the 4 of Pentacles for me, which is really about how he was withholding. He was manipulating the feminine by withholding this offer, dangling the carrot, not taking away and not giving it. I don't want to hurt you, but I don't want to let you go. That was a sentiment that the person I was focused on expressed. It was the most frustrating thing to sing along to. I don't want to hurt you, but I don't want to let you go. Embedded in music that I would hear again and again in his voice, which would hurt again and again and again. It's strange how the uncomfortable becomes so comfortable that we stay there. He felt that the whole time for years, probably still does. But look at this beautiful thing. The beautiful element of this Knight of Pentacles is that it is a well-intentioned, slow-moving progress. It is slow and steady. It is solid and reliable. It is a perfectionism that hurts our manifestations. But in the end, when we overcome this energy, and we do, because it is a movement, a plodding forward, we offer this cup. I have chills right now. Holy shit. This is the 4 of Wands again. In tune, in head and heart space. Wow. Very significant. Very, very significant. And we see that the reason he was moving slowly and steadily is because of this intention to offer this sacred union, to finally celebrate. It is coming directly below the 10 of Wands too. It is this completion. But remember, the 4 is, it's not even halfway to the end. It's just the beginning in a way. It's something we've patiently awaited, but it's here now because Divine Masculine is facing his fears. And we see this, facing his fears of commitment. We have the Page of Swords and the Hierophant, which is being curious and learning. And this is the card of learning your lessons. Here's the Tower energy, that revelation, giving him the key to unlocking these fears of commitment with the feminine energy. Oh my God. This is, my eye is twitching. This is basically like, I'm going to marry this person and there is nothing on heaven or earth that will stop me from doing this. I will not let my fears of being uncomfortable keep me uncomfortable. That's the dumbest logic we've ever known. It's like, oh God, I don't want to be uncomfortable later down the road, so I'm going to be uncomfortable right now. Let's go see how Divine Feminine feels. We're going to go back to the masculine healing oracles and messages after we do the Divine Feminine side, which just looks like it tracks so much with this. I can't. First, let me turn all these cards over here. She has a lot of overthinking going on. Like, whoa, Nelly. Divine Masculine just had overfeeling, but Divine Feminine, just like she did yesterday in the reading with Grace Strega, is overthinking. I guess it's, yeah, no, it is a lot. And it makes sense because of the card that's overall so funny. And I think her heart space is in check. Yeah. So they're reflecting one another, but in different ways. Okay. Just, I can't with this reading. Like, I can't with this reading. Holy shit. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Just read it. Top of the deck. Overall headspace for the Divine Feminine. Well, it's a card we just looked at. In reverse for the masculine, the Nine of Swords. In this card, the masculine is being attacked by all of this energy. In this card, the Divine Feminine is being attacked. Now, the secret of the Nine of Swords is that the Divine Feminine, in the image of the Smith-Waite card that we're commonly referring to when we look at tarot, it shows a feminine energy that has just woken up from a nightmare. So it's almost over. Something's going to happen to end this. After this 9 is going to come the 10. Now the 10 is really uncomfortable. The 10 is something is dead. But you have to kill things to be reborn. Divine Feminine's headspace right now is overthinking. So there's supposed to be 6 cards, and we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 coming out in the headspace. She's doing a lot of overthinking. She's anxious. She's definitely anxious right now. She wants to make a good choice for herself. She wants to choose the right path. I feel this very strongly. She wants to choose the right path. She wants to be discerning, because I'm looking at her heart space, but we're not going to get there yet. But I know that's important to her. But the overthinking is very real. It definitely kept her up last night, probably, and maybe has kept her up. She's got anxiety about making the right choices about things. I know that keeps coming to me. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the 9 of Cups, which is wish fulfillment. This is your wish coming true. Your wish is my command, because you have all the abundance you could possibly need. There is a selfish energy here, a protective quality. I don't want to share what I have with others. And I think this is what she's anxious about. I think there's starting to be an awareness that this masculine that didn't want to share with her, maybe she didn't really want to share with him either. Maybe she was actually really afraid of that on some level, for a lot of reasons that she might not even have completely understood. So Divine Feminine has this very haunted quality right now, which is be careful what you wish for on one level. On another level, what I wished for is now coming, and I'm scared to receive it. The first thing on her mind is transverse energy. So it's not upright. It's not completely in reverse. Oh my God, it makes so much sense. It is the 7 of Wands upright and the 8 of Pentacles. She's afraid right now of losing her momentum in working on whatever creative thing she's doing. She feels like she's on the fence. Does she fight for what she loves? And what she loves is being this abundant creatrix? Or does she fight for who she loves so that she can expand her potential for creation? She has been working on boundaries. That's another thing that's coming up. She's afraid, am I good at this? Am I keeping healthy boundaries? Am I protecting myself? Am I protecting myself too much? Am I protecting myself enough? Have I worked on these external obstacles enough to warrant something good finally happening? Or do I have to keep staying on guard for these bad things that are coming? In the next position in our headspace, we have the Four of Swords upright and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. That knight over here. And for Divine Masculine, this is what he was reflecting upon as having been something was pretty unfortunate that he was withholding and manipulating. Divine Feminine has a lot of grief over having been manipulated in this way. And the slow moving energy that has kept her in this pause. She's like, have I done enough work on my obstacles to finally heal from this withholding energy that I'm experiencing? And I'm sensing that she doesn't think she has, because the next thing that's coming up is the World in reverse, which is a card of completion that's not upright. So something isn't yet done, but it's a cycle. And so she feels like it is turning the wheel. You know, it's not the wheel of fortune, but the world turns just as the wheel turns. So there is this sense of there is a cycle closing. There is a healing taking place, but it hasn't quite closed yet because she's still going back and forth in this Two of Pentacles energy. This is the energy of needing to change, needing to make a choice about this Knight of Wands. So this is really wanting this energy to change, right? When you want someone to change, then you are wanting conditions to be met. And it's fine if you have conditions. You can have conditions for your company, conditions for your sharing your time, conditions for sharing your wealth. You can have conditions for all of those material aspects. I guess time isn't material, but you know what I'm saying. But you can't have conditions for love. A person, when I say it, people get uncomfortable. I'm like, every person. And they're like, yeah, well, what about this person? What about Hitler? I'm like, every person. Somebody said, what about Saddam Hussein the other day? I'm like, I'm sure he was lovely. I'm sure he had lovely qualities. I don't know really anything about that person. I choose to love that person, though, unconditionally. Like, yeah, but that person was a mass murderer. I was like, okay, I don't love the person's mass murdering capabilities. I don't feel they should have been free to do that. I think we should have, prevented them from hurting one another. But love doesn't need to be hate. It doesn't need to transform to hate for me to heal myself or that person. It has to stay love. Even when they slap you. I don't believe in turning my other cheek. I believe in walking away, not getting slapped again. I think getting slapped again is kind of silly. But even if they did, just being like, okay, well, I love you. If we did that from the beginning, there wouldn't be people like Hitler. Those people come from deep wounding that teaches them an unworthiness, a detachment from humans at such a level. It comes from hate. So I can't cure hate with hate. I can perpetuate it. Like attracts like. But you can choose who you share your love with, who is entitled to receive it, who earns the benefit, the expression of your love. You can choose that. In fact, you do. and you're like, oh no, I can't choose who I love. Yes, you can. You can love everyone. You can love everyone. You're like, oh, but I love this person more than other people. That's a choice. You can learn to love every person. They say statistically, arranged marriages are slightly more successful than love marriages because in arranged marriages, the goal is to learn to love and grow and expand as a family. And it's the relationship that you commit to, not a person, not an individual, but to your desire to be committed to growing and learning and expanding, learning how to love. So if that's your goal, then you grow to love someone. That's what your goal was. Whereas in love marriages, you're trying to sustain this thing that is not even really love. It's just more, it's like the chemical, physical processes of it, of something that we have when we focus on somebody through the eyes of source, when we see them without flaws, when we see their flaws as cute. Oh, he does that. That's stupid. Oh, I hate that. That's difficult to sustain because eventually you start to see things about yourself reflected back to you that you have a hard time accepting. So in karmic relationships, when that starts to happen, you blame the other person. You're like, wow, this person's an asshole. And it's like, well, no, you have a belief about people that at some point in time they become an asshole for you. Like this, that, or the other thing is something that you do or you won't let yourself do. And this person is just showing you those things. It's not your job to be like, I can only love you if you act the way I like. What if I was like that to my kid? And there are plenty of parents who are like that. But I would fuck my kid up so much. And that parents do. You don't get to only love your kid if your kid does shit you like. That's the most narcissistic fucking thing ever. That's not love. That's not remotely close to love. My kid gets to do everything he wants. And I don't have to like it. But I just have to love him. If my kid became, addicted to drugs and I was in a position where to house him and clothe him and give him money was enabling him to continue to be addicted to drugs, I would have to try to navigate that in a way where I still was showing him love, but I wasn't allowing him to kill himself in front of me with my permission, right? You have to find a way to navigate love. Sometimes it's not just straightforward. It's not always yay. So Divine Feminine is really thinking about these concepts. She's thinking about how she has chosen energy that has been player energy or inconsistent or inefficient or has love bombed her. How she has chosen slow-moving, methodical, plotting energy. How she has cycled through these things over and over. I love that it's raining today. I like this energy. Because of this card, the Tower, the first card in the masculine headspace and the last card in the feminine headspace. And we're looking at the reversal of a Tower, which is a resistance to releasing something. And it's coming out as clarifying the world, which is a cycle not being over. So Divine Feminine is really thinking a lot about how she is having a hard time releasing this desire to receive this offer that she created through her manifestations from this energy that doesn't bring solid offers. Trying to get a solid offer to come to you from this energy is never going to work. You're never going to be able to rebuild a tower with this energy. So Divine Feminine is feeling, she's thinking, she's like, shit, I've been trying to get this wand to be a pentacle. The pentacle is a material offer. The wand is a great idea. Right? Thank you, Soul Star. So yeah, that sucks. That's why her head is like, well, shit. What do I do then? Because I have a wish and I should be able to make it happen, right? I should be able to stand up for what I want and see somebody who's going to reflect this energy back to me. I should be able to see that. I want the passion. I want the love bombing. I want that. I think, do I want that? I don't even know. I'm not sure anymore. I don't know what I want now. That's very much her headspace. It's like, do I want someone good and solid, or do I want someone fun and exciting? Is there a person that has both? Are those both just ideas? The heart space is with her on the same page. The top of the deck is the Queen of Swords. The heart space is like, bitch, we're thinking about this right now. We're thinking about these red flags. We're worried about it. We're putting up boundaries. But we're very discerning. The heart space is countering this fear. It's like, listen, I know. I can see. I can see what I want clearly. When you know what you want clearly, and that's why these cards were transverse. When you know what you want clearly, you get what you want. When you don't know what you want, you can't get it. She's like, okay, I know what I want. What do I want? Marriage. The Hierophant card. I want to learn my spiritual lesson. I want to end this cycle. I want to let go of anything that's preventing me from coming into sacred union, which is my wish. And who else wants that? The divine masculine side of self. I want to be in a committed long-term sacred union. Now, there is ethical non-monogamous unions, and that can be something I'm comfortable with. I have ascended to, whatever it is. I want this feeling of security, which I know comes from myself being secure. My own personal joy is the lesson of this ascension. What a fucking powerful reading. My God. Okay. So oh my God. Clarifying this energy up here. We've got the King of Wands upright. So we have divine feminine in her heart space being like, listen, I might have been on the fence about this, but I'm taking action. I'm going to do for me what I expected someone else to do to make me feel like I should do that for myself. What? That's the craziest thing. I wanted a masculine to take action because that would prove to me that I was worthy of taking action. And the masculine never felt worthy of taking action because I never felt worthy of taking action. I was waiting for the masculine. And this doesn't mean to go propose to your masculine at all. This is about you taking action in your life. Look what she's making. Are you doing this? If you're watching these readings, I have everybody. These are collective readings. So we've got people in here who, I see them in my TikTok comments. They're like, oh, my divine masculine, we're in separation. He left me last week. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. If your divine masculine left you last week, get used to this card. Because this is why. You went into separation so that you could fight for yourself. Because you were lost in a masculine energy. And you couldn't pull in this creativity to create your own independence, your own vision, to be pioneering, to build something really special and profound. People want twins, but they don't want the mission. They're like, oh, I want a twin flame. Where's my twin flame? I'm like, what's your mission? You don't need a twin if you don't have a mission. Your twin is the person who shows you what your mission is, who challenges you every single day. It sucks. It's accelerated growth that takes you from the page to the king in an honestly short amount of time. You're like, it's not been short. It's been 13 years, man. That's not a short amount of time. Are you kidding? There are people who will never achieve even the first level of awakening in their whole life. and you're ascending the spiritual to the pinnacle of your spiritual journey before you're 70, or even if you're 70, congratulations. That's fucking fast. Like, you got to think differently about the journey. It's actually fast moving, powerful energy. Divine Feminine's heart is in tune. Oh my God, look at this. The Empress. Why is the Empress comfortable with waiting to birth this world, which is literally the next card? Because she has faith. It's like when someone's having a hard time getting pregnant, all they want in the world is to be pregnant. And it's this fear. They're not going to, have a baby. They're never going to have a baby. Oh, and then it's an awful, awful feeling for a couple that's trying to conceive. And it's difficult. When it's difficult, it's really, really difficult. It's such an ineffable thing. But then as soon as you do get pregnant, I'm sure you'll have some anxiety about the viability of the fetus and all these kinds of different things that you might think just if you're an anxious person in general. But that thing that you were so afraid of, that happened, right? So you can relax about it. You can have faith that the rest is going to go through. So this Divine Feminine is really feeling that she can just sort of wait. And this doesn't mean wait for a person. It's like she's sitting. I keep saying to my dog, oh, you're sitting pretty. She's sitting pretty. She's in command of her empire. I have a recruiter calling me right now at 11:11. I just saw that. There's 4 people in the room. Oh my God. Jesus. Anyway, I love this energy for the feminine. She's like, listen, I don't chase. I attract. I command, right? And it comes to me. This cycle, she's ending through optimism. 5 of Cups is a card about perspective. 5s are temporary blocks. A lot of times people talk about this card as sadness and depression. But for me, every card is about balance. So it's really about optimism versus pessimism and the ability to see when something is half empty versus something being half full. What will change Divine Feminine's cycle is to finally stop focusing on what she doesn't want, which is exactly in alignment with that masculine energy. If you're focused on the past and what went wrong, which is the next card that's coming up, you keep repeating the cycle of the past. Here's the cycle that's eternal. What is the cycle eternal? This healing of the heart, the 3 of Swords. So focusing on either what you want or don't want is causing her to experience this awareness, because the 3 of Swords, people will say, oh, it's about heartbreak, and but it's got 3 swords in it. The 2 of Swords is about a decision that you don't want to make. It's about a standstill, a truce, a pause, peace after struggle. It's like the Lord of Peace restored in the Hermetic Tarot, okay? When you insert the Ace of Swords between these 2 swords, people look at that as, oh, there's a third party. I mean, sure, I guess. But the truth of the card is that the ace hurts. The ace is the truth. And the truth about why you're not making a certain decision hurts. And once you realize that you are keeping yourself in this cycle, you end the cycle. There's a book that's helpful for people with binge eating disorder that's called When You Find Yourself at the Refrigerator, Pull Up a Chair. It's by Janine Roth. And it is the concept that one of the ways that you can break the cycle of binging is by allowing yourself to binge. Because as soon as you embrace the truth that you feel bad and need comfort, the numbing behavior that you have becomes obsolete because you just did the thing you were numbing yourself from. You embraced that you felt bad. And now you can feel it and you're still okay. Now you can allow yourself to comfort yourself. If you're allowed to comfort yourself, you don't have to hurt yourself for doing it. You're like, wow, I feel bad. I don't want to feel this way. Usually if I eat chocolate, I do feel a little better. I'm going to have some of this chocolate. Then you're present in the activity. Instead of hating yourself for it, maybe you're like, you know, I'm glad actually that I ate this chocolate instead of hurting myself, instead of calling this person and hurting myself with a conversation, instead of all the things I could have done. And then you realize, wait, this behavior, it's not a self-harming behavior. It's actually a behavior that is trying to support me. It's a self-supportive behavior. But my problem is I felt so ashamed of it. I felt so bad about myself that I would punish myself with the thing that I need to help me, because nourishment helps me feel better. And it's appropriate to feel better when I feel bad. And there's all kinds of nourishment. I can have a heated blanket. I can watch old movies. I can cry. Like, you start to step out of this place where you're hurting yourself all the time, because the truth is you kept making choices that you detached yourself from in order to keep the environment you were most comfortable in, even if it was uncomfortable. People are like, why do I keep having the same relationship? I keep choosing a person who is reflecting back to me that they're not ready for commitment. Why does that keep happening? Because there must be your own fear of commitment in some aspect in life. Maybe it's purely the fear that no one will commit to you. But whatever that thought is, it has to keep being validated and verified by your experiences. That's how we function with the material world. This Knight of Wands is being clarified by the Page of Cups. So rather than being this player, this Don Juan, this is this goofy, awkward, youthful, heart-centered, loving energy. It's the card of true love. It's almost like the balm for this wound. Look, it's like this is fiery and it burns and it's painful. And this gentle, young, youthful, innocent love will quench this burning fire. And needs to, because the other type of love, you know, it burns, it hurts, and it does that because we're used to the discomfort. And the final card we're getting is the King of Cups. This is someone achieving emotional mastery from the Page to the King. This is such a good person, kind, loving, caring, compassionate, brave, true, psychic, sensitive, communicates well when they are healed. When they are unhealed, they do not express themselves. But we're seeing here a mastery. Divine Feminine is doing this within herself. She's achieving this peaceful, calm energy, this control over her emotions. So even if her headspace is like this, her heart space is like this. She feels, she knows, she tunes into, she is not letting those emotions deregulate her. This could be somebody who struggled with depression for many years, doesn't have that as a problem any longer. All right, so let's go now to the oracles. Oh my gosh, I'm so late. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so Divine Masculine. We're going to go through, for both the masculine and feminine energy, we're going to do your archetype, your spiritual guardian, your mindset, the ritual work you might want to do, release energy, rebuild energy, and your spirit animal guide plus your theme. So get some popcorn. Okay. This is, you are currently in the shadow attribute. You're working on this. This is the archetype that you must work on. You must release the compulsive need to keep moving on. Yikes. Okay. And the way that you will do that is having a passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. When you have this passion and stay committed to the passion that you have, you are the King of Wands. You are the monogamous king. You have achieved mastery. Look at that. I forgot. We've got mastery twice in the feminine reading, because we've got from the page to the king and from the knight to the king. So there's this maturing energy that's taking place within self. So divine masculine is really needing to tune into his pioneering King of Wands energy. Instead of needing to move on because of your fears or anxieties, sticking it out. Your guardian angel's here to support you in being brave, which you need, because that's what you need to do, is work up that courage with the Page of Swords to bring in that commitment. I can't make it up. These cards just come out. It's crazy. And then we've got happiness is my birthright in reverse, which means the mindset that has to be worked on this week is similar to the feminine's mindset, needing to be optimistic, needing to understand that we get convinced that discomfort is our birthright, because if it wasn't, then our parents didn't provide a stable environment. And that means our parents, in that black and white thinking we have as children, then our parents didn't love us. And if our parents didn't love us, then we would die. So we have to, so everything that they did, whether it was, perfectly fine or super fucked up, we have to be like, well, my parents loved me enough that they didn't kill me. Sometimes that's not even true, right? Sometimes we don't even have access to that. So we're seeing this energy of like, your birthright is not this discomfort masculine. Your birthright is not to have drama and unstable foundations. And I just heard divorce, discontent. Your birthright is actually to receive the well-being that is inherent. 11:22 on the clock. It is just that you grew up in such a tumultuous way, or experienced life in such a way that you forgot this very poignant lesson. Happiness is your birthright. And happiness is, I usually change that to contentment, because I like contentment. Contentment is bad things can be happening and good things can be happening, but I'm in a place of contentment. I know how to navigate extremes. I feel balanced and satisfied. I can look at the times I felt really sick and in bed and find deliciousness in being tired, exhausted, and snuggled. And I can look at, the times that I was homeless and have to go and live with friends as times when I got to connect and move to places no one had ever been before. I'm content with my experiences. I have ways to find gratitude. That is your birthright. The ritual work that you might want to do is with trust. Now, this is easy to do with tarot cards. You can take a deck of tarot cards and you can say, I trust that I will get the Lover's card. And then shuffle. You will get the Lover's card. And once you get it, it might take you a bit the first time, but once you get it, you'll start to get it over and over and over and over. As you trust, you can walk on water. You might want to do some kind of a ritual, like, do a mental trust fall, like do something that is going to remind you of the trust you have. Wear a cross, wear some kind of a crystal that reminds you of faith that you have in something. A personal issue reaches resolution. This is full moon in Cancer energy. This is having to do with home and loved ones and family. So something that's been going on, it's reached a resolution. Like something that you were worried about, just have faith. It has reached this resolution. So release any fear that you like. This could be about commitment itself, this personal issue of working on commitment. Just release the fear. You are absolutely able to have a home and family, to provide for a home and family. You are getting this work your light transformation card. Things are changing at a cellular level and deep healing, but it was in reverse. This is this acknowledgement to me that you have done the deep healing that you have needed to do. Then we're getting stars, a stag spirit, take the lead. And stag spirit in reverse for me just is making me think of stag energy, of bachelor energy, changing. And this is a protection message. So let's see what the Spirit Animal Oracle has to tell you. Others may not be as far along as you are on your journey. When stag spirit appears in the protection position, you are called to be compassionate and patient as you find yourself leading the way. When others struggle to follow you, they may be unsure that you can be trusted, challenging you to be kind and strong, challenging your value and questioning your worth. Know that Spirit has put you in this place at this time for a purpose and will not abandon you when you need help with your new responsibilities. Or perhaps you are actually uncomfortable leading, maybe temporarily trapped by your small self, and are therefore promoting yourself too strongly, afraid that others might see weakness or imperfection in you. Let go of your fears and let Stag Spirit remind you that you have what it takes to lead wisely and ethically if you practice self-honesty and listen to others who wish to support you. So, wow, for me, that's definitely the masculine having to be unsure about the divine feminine right now, with that Seven of Swords coming out with the feminine energy on it, just having to realize that because he had played that cat and mouse game with her, that she's not trusting him right now. She has her guard up and she's seeking red flags, and she's really good at seeing them. And so divine masculine is just like, you are actually going to have to work a little harder. You were in that stag spirit for too long. And divine feminine is like, I don't know about you being healed. I mean, maybe I'm going to believe the cards I got in this spread and see that this masculine energy has fully matured from knight to king. In both instances, there also could be two kings, two people, a King of Cups and a King of Wands. The King of Wands could have been the energy from the past, and the King of Cups is the one that's coming forward. So this could be somebody that you've held a torch for. And now there's going to be this new energy coming in to help heal this old energy. And it might be somebody young, but they have a maturity about them. The theme that divine masculine has is the Six of Cups. This is that nostalgia. It says here pleasure. It's a card that's about relaxation and bliss, and it's also a card about being very realistic about the past. So you're seeing, the light and the dark. You're not just looking at it with rose-colored glasses, but you're reflecting upon it. It's feeling fulfilling to you because you can see how it's changed you or helped you to grow. And it's also about reuniting. So it can be about coming back together with your feminine energy, reuniting with her, and facing any fears that you had about revealing things that have happened in the past, and just communicating and expressing. Divine feminine, the archetype that is helping you this week is the Rebel Archetype, which challenges authority to affect social change and rejects spiritual systems that do not serve your needs. So keep this up. This is an archetype that you already possess, and this is going to be present for you. For me, this rebel energy I always associate with Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man goes off from society and suspends himself to get perspective And so the rebel in him is willing to do something other people are not willing to do. So I see you continuing to just keep gaining this perspective and changing your old limiting beliefs that came from old spiritual systems that don't serve you anymore. Your guardian angel is going to be here to support you this week with making a wise decision, which you've got that decision to make. It could be about this old flame versus this new energy, moving into this new space of experiencing someone new. Or it could be just the general choosing to behave differently towards masculine energy in general. That might be where your decision making lies, but you'll know if there's a decision also that you have to make, how this resonates with you. Your mindset that is going to help you is I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So this is taking time to affirm this in little ways for yourself. And the best way to affirm that you are love is to love yourself. Do things that are very loving to yourself. Create mindful moments that when you do that, you're saying, I am love and miracles are natural. My existence is a miracle. That's a miracle. That's natural. Things happen miraculously all the time. There are really only laws are only guidelines, it turns out. This ritual card is coming out for new beginnings. So you are cautious about starting again. We saw resistance to releasing a King of Cups here that may have been withholding. So you might want to work on releasing that because you can't start something new if you hold on to something old. You could do release work like you would do around the full moon to welcome this new beginning. There's the spiritual law of vacuum, which is that you must create space for something to come in. Okay, I'm just getting a bunch of messages. And then prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. This is in reverse. So this is this energy of releasing the idea that your prosperity is in your future and starting to be more in that gratitude energy in the here and now. You are safe. You are secure right now. There is not more security or safety that's coming. It's just more awareness of your safety and security that you're allowing that is coming. So look at it that way. Instead of being like, oh, my future is so prosperous, think about, be like, as I keep changing my mindset, I keep noticing how much prosperity I really do have. If that's what you're affirming, that's going to keep expanding you rather than being like, in the future, I will be prosperous. But as I notice how prosperous I am in this moment, my prosperity increases. Law of attraction. Imrama, what are you being called to journey to? So there is that call, like your spiritual journey has come to somewhat of a pinnacle, right? You might be called to start learning about some other gift that you have, developing in some way. And this can be just journeying to the center. It could be doing a little bit of hermit energy and like doing some meditation and being like, okay, what do I work on next? You're also getting a protection message. This is coming from Buffalo Spirit. The abundant universe will provide. It is number 10. When Buffalo Spirit visits you with a message of protection, he is asking you to shift your thinking from poverty consciousness to one where you trust the universe will provide. It's literally what I just said. Have you been falling into financial insecurity, worrying that there will be not enough money in the future? Have you been stressing and feeling sorry for yourself, worrying that because you have no romantic relationship now, you will never have one? Do you see scarcity where there is, in fact, abundance? Are you comparing yourself to others and falling short? Self-pity, entitlement, fear, and lack are all thought viruses that seduce you into darkness. Buffalo Spirit nudges you to make a gratitude list and be mindful of your thoughts at this time. Even if outer events have happened to change beliefs in abundance, outer conditions are temporary. If you are suffering from the malaise of fear that you are impoverished, realize that it is only poverty of perception and perspective. Prayer, communing with your higher power, and gratitude, coupled with compassionate, selfless service, will snap you right out of it. Give to someone who has less than you. Be thankful for the tiniest things and say affirmations. Then you will remember abundance is the true nature of the world. I literally just praise. Okay, these cards just confirm what I'm getting from the spirit. And then we're getting the Three of Wands. You know, imagine living in a time where we didn't believe in message coming from spirits anymore. Like, I feel like it's so interesting that a lot of Christians reject spiritual messages because there's this weird, like, the only spiritual messages came through the Bible, and that doesn't happen anymore. I don't understand why. If spiritual messages were coming all the time, why would they stop? Why would angels stop communicating? Why would people stop receiving higher messages? I never understand that. I think it must be because they want ownership over the messages and control over the messages. Oh, that must be what it is. Okay, the Three of Wands. This is your work this week. This is that future potential card, but we just told you what you have to work on. Rather than seeing your abundance as something that is in the future, you must believe it before you see it. To believe it before you see it, all you have to do is tune into the feeling of it. The feeling of it shows you the truth of it. You get to the feeling by gratitude. Like, I would consider myself, I would have considered myself, I'm not anymore because I'm changing how I think about myself, but I would have considered myself a poor person until recently when I realized that I have $1,000 phone that I use and like subscriptions to Hulu and YouTube. Like, I'm pretty sure that a truly impoverished person would not be able to have these delights. And maybe I can't do other things because of those little delights that keep me alive and sane, but I was looking at it incorrectly. I'm not impoverished in any way, shape, or form. My life is filled with abundance right now. And there's more because there's always more. We live in an expanding universe. That's literally a physics concept that I can't explain to you. All right, we are, oh my God, up in heaven. We're at the final cards. I'm going to buzz through this because I'm way over time here. We have the trickster energy. You are both in the shadow attributes of manipulating others through duplicity. So, my friends, there's no need to be doing things behind the scenes. You can be transparent, you can be open, you can be honest about your feelings. And if you can't, then you're not going to see it. If you can't be open about what you're doing, if you can't be on the up and up, then you're not going to get somebody who can be open and on the up and up. So you need to transcend convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Stop playing games. And your guardian angel is here to support you in this commitment. So it's a good thing you don't have to do this by yourself because you couldn't. That's what Anthropos is about. Anthropos is when you embrace the divine within you, which has the power of conviction. That's all you need to keep a commitment. The power of a conviction. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. This is every person you meet. Give them a clean slate every day. Every single day, give them a clean slate. Remember that you're creating what you see by what you focus on. So if you focus on how your mom is always worried about what you're doing and whether it's going to be lucrative or not, and you don't want to talk to her because that's the kind of conversation you're going to have. I'm totally digging from my own psyche right now, obviously. Then that's the conversations I'm going to have. If I can think about the times when my mom and I have geeked out talking about aliens, which is so funny because it's like my mom is this devout Catholic with this very rigid structure, but she loves alien shit. We talk to her about UFOs all day and have a fun time. And it's this weird trajectory from there into some of the things that I would love to be able to talk to her about, but fear I can't. And if I fear I can't, then I keep creating that environment where I tense up when I start to talk something. She starts to feel my tension. We start to feed off of each other, and boom, we're like in the place that I thought we would go. But if I have the willpower, which is finite, so it might be earlier in the day that I have this type of willpower. But if I have the willpower to envision my person or any person with a clean slate, then they have the opportunity to fill in their image with my ideas that I want and not the ones I don't want. But every time I think about how they used to be, I recreate the past. Let go of the past. The ritual work that needs to be done is having to do with the strength card. So this is ego stuff. So you might want to look at like Buddhist meditations or reading some Buddhist philosophy, anything that's going to help you start to really tune into releasing the ego. There's Byron Katie's Course in Miracles. That's really good with ego work. But there's different ritual things you can do. You can also, this is like, if you just need strength or confidence, you can use like Tiger's Eye. Like just tap into something that will help you start to feel more confident, more like you have control over your baser instincts, emotions. The end of a tough cycle approaches. We saw that 9 of Swords. After the 9 comes the 10. Once we get to the 10, we can end the separation because it's over. The pain and the suffering that we feared happened, and now it's over. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together. Intuitive Hits and Soul Tribe. The end of the cycle approaches. The soul tribes are coming together. Pig Spirit is here to remind you to use your mind wisely. This is card 47. Pig Spirit appears to remind you of the right use of intelligence, a gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition partnered with smarts and common sense, which leads to intelligent solutions. When Pig Spirit appears, you are called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good, recognizing that all facts must be considered even when they do not fit with what you know already. Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow Pig Spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally, as we mull over our ideas and what we have come to understand. You are intelligent and capable of clear-minded thinking, shaped by the wisdom you have accumulated and the intuition that will tell you when you have more learning to do, because not all facts are in. Now is the time that your decision-making powers are reliable, for you are in alignment with Pig Spirit's keen intelligence. Alrighty, I love that message, especially when you're overthinking the shit out of things over here. And your theme is the 6 of Swords, science. This card says science on it. I was like, interesting, Aleister Crowley. What do you mean? And then I thought about what science is. And science is an observational method where we test hypothesis, right? We test something out. We find out, does it work? It does. Great. Doesn't it? Doesn't. Okay, not great. Don't do that way. Let's do it this way. And the 6 of Swords is about learning from your mistakes and learning from these tests. And once you've passed the tests, you get to a hypothesis, which can become a theory, which maybe becomes a law, right? So this is, again, focusing us inward on this faith, this journey of faith, moving in faith from those turbulent waters to the calmer waters, which you might not be able to see, but you can trust that they will be calmer than where you have been because you have learned how to be calmer in your life. This was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reading. Thank you so much. I will probably have a difficult week in terms of knowing my schedule because I am going to be packing up the apartment in in the next couple of days. And then moving out of it on Friday. And we're like kind of up in the air. I have a friend, 1144. We were going to get a cabin, and now it's like, I don't know if we're going to do that. And so I'm just like looking at a couple different options. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to be, but for 2 weeks, I'm going to be not in my apartment that I'm supposed to be in Pasadena. So wish me luck with that. And if you would like to book a personal reading or send any donations, I could use all the support I can get right now, because I might need a plane ticket. I might go home. Like, I'm kind of like, I don't know. What am I going to do? But I'm going to do something. Inevitably, something's going to happen. And that's what my life is like. Deuces. Okay. Anyway, I will see everybody most likely on the TikToks periodically throughout the week, as well as I will be seeing members on Thursday for the Tell Me Everything spread. My studio is going to be pulled down. There's going to be some wonky things. So if for some reason I can't get to it this week, please forgive me. But my intention is to do the readings on top of all the other things. That's how I do. That's what I do to myself. I don't know why. I guess this is why am I like this? I don't know. Anyway, I will be here. So I will see you for sure next week, hopefully back on a schedule, and with a new backdrop and a changing backdrop for a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. All my love to you. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you very soon. Take care.